Welcome back to the Nethercast, guys. I am Cyborg, and I am joined, as always, by Temp, Razor. Unfortunately, Shadowloo is sitting this one out again. He's still without internet, so we miss him, we love him, we wish him the best, Godspeed. But we do have on a special guest, and that is a returning guest, and that would be Sir Brusque.
Hello, everybody. I'm a returning guest character
Yes.
in this NetherRealm stream.
What's up?
It doesn't exist in the world.
Ed,
No
Ed
guest
would
characters.
not approve of this. We're paying for the same thing twice.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a part of the Nethercast universe. Everyone's gonna shit on me.
But your gameplay's gonna be broken, so it's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only mad because they could have had rain instead, you know?
All right, so there's quite a bit to get into this week. We have Firestorm, the reveal of Firestorm with the up, up, down, down guys, and then we have the stream where they showed off an actual Firestorm trailer, and then we have the breakdown of Swamp Thing and Cheetah, as well as the introduction of Source Crystals, and I have my own little rant blow up that I need to go on based on the events of said stream. So where do we want to start here? Let's just go in order. Let's start with Firestorm. The Firestorm reveal, you can lump the trailer in there as well. Razor, what do you got on Firestorm? Nope. Brusque.
No?
Brusque, what do you have on Firestorm? Let's let the guests
Well, do you
go
want me
first.
You want me to talk about my thoughts on like the first reveal, because the first reveal was like completely like dumb.
Well,
We barely got like seconds of gameplay. So
yeah, that was a thing that happened.
my first reaction is that I was like, okay, cool. I had some people like tell me that, or I was one of them who said like he looks like Fujin, like his face looks like Fujin from MKX.
It does.
And so like when they first revealed him, I was like, okay, there's barely enough to go off of. We just saw a couple like moves, him shooting fire and everything. Like it was just like the basic thing plus the super move. But once the trailer came around, then I was like, oh, okay, now he looks pretty darn good. I like everything he has to offer. I mean, some people say I've seen some people compare him to Tremor a little bit with the magma and everything. I can see it. But he just looks like his own character, kind of. I've seen some Sinestro kind of comparisons as well. But overall, I don't have any complaints about him. I like his visual design. It's kind of CW-ish. I mean, some people have a problem with it. I really don't mind it because, granted, I'm not that big of a Firestorm fan. But it's not that I don't like the character. It's just that, hey, if he looks cool and with the gameplay and everything, then hey, I'm on board. I'm glad he's in the game. And I'm glad, Firestorm fans have what they have and everything like that. So, yeah, pretty general opinion. It's cool.
Okay, sure. Razor, where you at on Firestorm?
I'm really happy with what we've seen of Firestorm. Like in terms of the way he was revealed, like I was not nearly as upset as everybody else was about how little footage we got, because I knew that we'd get more soon, and we did like 2 days later.
A day later, actually, I think. Wait, no,
Yeah.
You're right. Monday to Wednesday, 2 days. Okay.
Anyway, like the most important thing to me was just seeing like what he was going to look like, and I am really, really happy with this costume because it's skin tight and it's not made of fucking armor plates. They actually made a superhero outfit as opposed to their weird NetherRealm armor designs, and like I couldn't be happier. Like he looks very close to the comics, and in terms of like comparisons to the CW show, I actually think that Firestorm on the CW shows has one of the better costumes, so that's not at all a problem for me. The only real difference between like CW and what's in the game is that the game has him with the headgear that he has in the comics,
Gotcha.
as opposed to like on the shows it's just like he doesn't wear anything on his head and then his head's on fire.
Okay.
So, as far as his moves, like, I am a little bit disappointed because, as you remember, I've said before what I hoped and expected for Firestorm, that they'd use his ability to transmute elements in his moves somehow,
Right.
and it looks like it's pretty much just a fire throwing guy. Although, like, I wonder what the turning blue, his trait actually does.
Right.
I'm not clear on that. Like, does it change the damage output or what?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be kind of boring if it was just damage output. I mean, I think that's kind of like a simplistic way of doing that. I feel like that's not very creative. But Temp, where are you at on Firestorm?
I think Firestorm's amazing. I'm very happy with the character. I didn't see the reveal, so I know everyone was down about the reveal. I didn't see that till about like 12 hours after the fact. I completely forgot there was going to be a reveal that day. So I'm just, at work, fucking scrolling on my phone. I'm at eventhubs.com, and I was like, oh, Street Fighter patch notes. And I was like, it said Firestorm revealed, and I fucking like flew out of my seat. I was like, holy shit, when was that? Who announced that, right? So, yeah, so I looked at the photos. I thought he looked really good. But there's another reason why I'm kind of excited about the character. When Dr. Fate was revealed, I was like, oh, this character looks so good. But I know he's going to be like underneath a pile of dudes when people play him. When the game comes out, like everyone's going to be flocking towards Fate. So I'm like, I might just wait for them to reveal another character who I can kind of stick with while everyone's on the Fate train, So this will kind of be like my Dr. Fate. This is going to be like my badass character on this side. If I had to give a criticism, I think he's just part of an unfortunate pattern of Injustice characters who are really bombastic on paper, literally, but are kind of underwhelming in gameplay. Like, a lot of characters just feel... The stiffness is part of the problem, but I feel like the character designs and animations are really conservative. I like to see characters be able to do really crazy shit. And I feel like a lot of the flying energy beam characters are just they visually are very restrictive. They're not doing crazy shit. They're shooting very small lasers. They're kind of doing the teleport's awesome, by the way. I love his teleport. But it's weird seeing these gods, these titans play like Ryu. That's weird to me. And he's part of that pattern. I wish he was a little more bombastic. Some characters do it right. Supergirl is perfect. Superman is perfect. In Injustice 1, Superman felt like Superman should play. He looked the way Superman should play. I don't feel that way about Firestorm. I don't feel that way about Blue Beetle. I feel like they need a lot more oomph. But the character's badass. I love the design. Remember how I said I want Captain Cold to be a Mega Man 1 villain? Well, I got it. I got my fucking Fireman. It's awesome. I love it. So,
see, the thing about these trailers is I feel like they're kind of hit and miss. I mean, if you watch these streams where they do the character breakdowns, I did not think Harley or Wonder Woman or Swamp Thing or even Cheetah were done justice in their trailer compared to what the actual breakdown showed. And that's obviously we're very high on Swamp Thing's trailer because it looked really good.
Yes.
But the breakdowns of each of these characters are what are selling them to me. It wasn't until the breakdowns of all these characters did I think to myself, man, I really want to play this. Swamp Thing might be the exception because he really did have a strong trailer. But even Redman was a little bit kind of hesitant on Swamp Thing until he saw the breakdown. The breakdowns, I feel like, show a lot more of what the character has to offer, whereas the trailer is just kind of like the flashy stuff. You don't really know everything that's really going on in the finer details of everything until you see the breakdowns. So it's really interesting.
Okay.
For Firestorm, real quick, though, I'll throw mine on there.
Oh, definitely.
I actually, I don't know. It was a thing.
Could you say more?
No.
It exists. That's my opinion.
I don't know. I guess I didn't see the same character that you guys saw. I saw a character that threw fireballs and had a couple of cool moves, but overall, I mean, his trailer didn't even touch the Fate trailer or the Swamp Thing trailer in terms of style, but maybe that's just me. I'm not huge into Firestorm. I'm glad the character's in the game, don't get me wrong, and I think he's cool, but just, I don't know, nothing in the trailer sold me on, man, I want to play this character.
I mean, again, for me, it's all about the costume. Like, I just want to say something that will reward NetherRealm for doing an outfit right, because they need positive...
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you there.
Appraisal. They need to know that this is what the characters in a superhero game should look like, so they'll stop doing the other thing.
Yeah, No, I mean they've definitely nailed some of the characters in this game, whereas others they've had the armor a much more of a factor. I think a nice balance of both. Have the base be the unarmored version, and that's what the gear is for, is to offer that type of aesthetic that they want to put on there as an option. So yeah, I'm with you on Firestorm. If I'm going to be positive about the character, like I said, he does have some cool looking moves. I like his super, and I do think the way he looks is fantastic. So absolutely with you on that one.
So it sounds like really, honestly, I think both me and Razor are in agreement with you. I don't think. I think the enthusiasm level is the only thing we disagree on, but I think we all agree the costume is great.
Yeah.
I think we all agree the gameplay was underwhelming. I feel like
Yes.
we're all
Well,
kind of in that same camp.
In terms of the gameplay, like, as much as I'm disappointed that it doesn't look like he does any transmutation, I still am probably going to give him a chance as like a character I'll play, because the fast keep away, he has that in common with MKX Liu Kang, and that's one of the tools that made me gravitate toward that character. So,
Right.
because
Interesting.
I'm still looking for a guy like
Somebody to main.
Like,
Gotcha.
Lou was perfect for me, and Johnny was perfect for me in MK9 because it was that fast rush down that you could button mash combined with fast projectiles. And I don't know if anybody in this game is going to be, the perfect mix of the two things. But in terms of having half of that formula, Firestorm definitely looks like the fast projectile guy.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
he's
agree with you
very
there.
Yeah, he's very projectile heavy. I think like I mean I'm not saying this is the reason why you guys aren't as like enthusiastic about his gameplay as other people. I'm just saying like I'm thinking that maybe because in the trailer they showed a lot of projectiles. Like it was very projectile heavy in that trailer, I believe.
And that's where the breakdowns of the characters kind of
Yeah.
helps them, because like you said, it was very projectile heavy, whereas I imagine during the breakdown they're going to show a lot more of his combo potential, his normals, of course, some tricks that he has up his sleeves, and they'll show some of the ability, take away some of that projectile heaviness and go a little bit more of a different style. So definitely, I'm not like writing the character off by any means in a gameplay stance. I'm just more saying from just purely impression from the trailer, the gameplay didn't really wow me. That's why I didn't really do. I know somebody put on, I think it was Nightbeast. I don't remember his name from the YouTube video. He left in the comment saying, because I put up my video of the Firestorm reveal initially from the up, down, down one, and just said that there wasn't a whole lot there, but it looked neat,
Mhm.
I guess. And then I never did one on the actual trailer itself because it didn't really change much other than, yeah, that looked better. But I don't know. I wasn't too excited about it. But might as well not belabor that point. So it sounds like we're all along the same kind of vein to various degrees, but we all could agree that we're hoping that his gameplay has more to show, hopefully during a breakdown or just in the final game, of course. But let's move on to the next thing, I guess, would be the source crystals reveal. I think
Yeah,
that
that's
was the next
interesting.
thing. So I put up a video last night giving my kind of thoughts on the source crystals. To me, so I'll just jump and get my stuff out of the way first. But to me, these source crystals, it's the microtransactions in the game. They're purely cosmetic. They aren't going to have any sort of stats or gear tied to them. It's purely just the shaders and potentially premiere skins and stuff like that. Where I start to get a little worried is anytime that you make microtransactions like that, even if it is just cosmetic stuff, it's what they haven't really touched upon is how quickly are we going to unlock these things in game. Usually when you make it something that you can pay to get quicker, it means they're likely going to make it so you get it less often in game. Meaning, if they didn't have the microtransaction system, why not just let you get it all quicker? But if they have a way to make you pay for it to get it quicker for those that are impatient, they're obviously going to kind of slide that back a little bit so those that get a little impatient have that ability to do so, and therefore they're more willing to pump out some money towards it. We also don't know, are you paying for the exact item you want to get that, like, oh, I like that shader, 50 crystals, here we go. Boom, there, I got it. Or are you paying like $1 for one, like enough crystals to get a box, like a random box to open up to get a random item, like how Overwatch or Halo does it. So then you run into the problem of you're paying money, but you're not even guaranteed to get what you want. You're just guaranteed to get an item. I doubt they're going to go that route, but we don't really know for sure because they didn't really go super in detail of how this whole system worked. And the last kind of thing that I'm a little worried about is we don't know the pricing of this. So this could be something where each shader, if you want like to get a shader quicker, I don't know, what sounds fair to you guys? $1 to get something that you want really quickly, like $1 for a shader, $2.50 for a premium skin. Like I don't know the price point, because if you're somebody that wants to unlock, I guess if you want to unlock one specific item quicker, even if it is $1 or $2.50, no big deal. You know, you got it right away. There you go. I mean, that's hardly any money to spend. Not a big deal. But say you're somebody that wants several things for several characters quicker, if you're paying $1, $2.50 a pop, that can really start to add up to be quite a lot, much more so than if it was just put in a skin bundle and charge you $5 for it. So that's kind of where a microtransaction system can come back to haunt you and bite you, is you actually are more likely to spend more money on them, and thus that's how they get their money. Which I'm all for them. I said this in my videos. I'm all for them getting as much money as possible. That means a larger budget. That means they might support the game longer, more DLC, etc. I'm just a little bummed that I guess they're going to do the paid DLC, the Ultimate Edition, all that, as well as the microtransaction route. But ultimately, I'm not too bothered by it.
Well, that's my biggest concern, is how much, like, Street Fighter V Zenny do I get with my Ultimate Edition copy of Injustice 2? That's really where I'm like, okay, well, I'm paying $85. So what are you giving me any money? It's weird that I pay $85 and I don't get to pick my color. I still am at the same level as all the $59.99 bitches who paid the... Yeah, that seems wrong to me.
Good. Thank you for bringing that up, because I was actually going to mention that, and I forgot about that part, is I wish in the Ultimate Edition they included some source crystals with it. Why not? I mean, that's a simple thing to put into an Ultimate Edition, to say, all right, you also get $10 worth of source crystals. That's not really a huge loss to them, because you're already dropping a ton getting their entire DLC. It makes the bundle that much better for those that are going to get the Ultimate Edition, and it allows those that get the Ultimate Edition something right out of the gate. They're like, okay, I can pick this, pick this, pick this, pick this, and there, I'm spent. I mean, Halo, not to keep comparing it, but Halo did something like that as well, where in the collector's edition that you buy for $100, I believe it was, they included 10 gold packs that you get over the span of a few weeks. You get 2 gold, or it was 14, I believe. You get 2 gold packs for 7 weeks, and they just give it to you in waves. And it's just an added bonus of getting the collector's edition. Why not for the Ultimate Edition? I don't know. I feel like that's something we should be pushing for as fans in the community, because that's something they could add on if they haven't already thought about something like that. They could add on here. Give them $5 or 500 source crystals or 1,000 or whatever. You know, it's hardly a loss for them, and it's just a nice little incentive for the fans.
They're underselling how complex this system is and how varied the pricing is going to be, because there's so many different items and mods and colors. They're trying to say, like, you know, this is not a big deal, but they're not showing us everything. A lot of it's still silhouetted. So
Yes.
That's my concern.
Yes, absolutely. There is reason to be concerned. I think it's okay to be optimistic and say, you know, this isn't a big deal. But until we know the details of it, we don't really know if it is a big deal or not, because a lot of the important details that are going to make this what it is and make it a pass or a fail or really okay thing, or really kind of, man, they're just gouging us left and right for a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. We don't really know until we know the drop rate, until we know if every item that's going to be source crystal required is going to drop in-game itself. Because I noticed a lot of times, I know Sean Hemrick said this, and I know on the website it actually says many of the items will be in-game or something like that. They didn't say all the items. They didn't say every single item would be in the game. They just said most of these you can get in-game or something like that. So then that runs into, oh man, my favorite color I have to buy. And then you're like, you're paying for a palette swap essentially. And that, I don't know, it can get nasty real soon. So I don't think this is something we should just write off as okay just because it doesn't come with the stats and stuff like that attached to it. It's not pay to win, but just because it's not pay to win doesn't mean it can't get bad for the player.
Yeah, pay to win is just one possible problem. There's other possible problems too. Like overcharge me for aesthetics, that's a problem. That's not as bad as pay to win, but it's close.
Right.
Like I'm not even worried about the pay to win anyway. I'm gonna be fucking ranked. We're playing with my online friends.
No, I know.
Pay to win, I don't give a shit. But don't make me pay like $5 for the color blue. That's what fucks me up. So.
Well,
yeah.
Well, these power crystals do unlock. They do unlock shaders, right? That's what they said.
Yeah, they said shaders, premier skins. I think those are the only two things that they really touched upon.
Yeah, in the beta, I believe it was very, very rare to unlock a shader because it took me forever to unlock the Supergirl shader, the white one.
Right.
It took me forever to unlock that, so I don't know if it's gonna be like taking forever to unlock a shader in like the final version of the game. I mean, yeah, it's just the beta, like I said, like it's just the beta. So if it's gonna be that kind of like rare to unlock a shader, then I can see why I can see why NetherRealm is pushing this crystal thing. Like, hey, if you don't want to wait, here you can buy this. Like, you can like pay $5 to get like one shader or something like that. It's kind of it does bother me the more that I think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. But that's something that they can absolutely control on their end. Instead of just making it random drops, they could just make it, hey, you get a certain amount of currency per match that you do, and then you can go to the character you like, and each particular item has a specific currency that it costs, so you don't have to have random drops. You can just say, oh, I want that shader. How much do I need? Oh, 100 coins? Okay, I'll bust out 5 matches online. Okay, now I'll go spend my coins on the specific item I like. The reason why they don't do that is because of the microtransactions. There's a reason why Overwatch is random drops and loot boxes and stuff like that with random stuff. And Halo is the way it is. And other games, I mean, there's a lot of games that do it these days because it makes them a ton of money. Rocket League does the same kind of stuff these days. It got updated to have like loot crate type system where it's random drops like that, and you actually have to pay money for the crates to get random items, and it's like you're not even guaranteed to get what you want. My friend who plays Overwatch, every time they have a seasonal holiday thing, they'll put up seasonal skins that you can only get during that like 20-day period or 15-day period. So if you don't actually, I mean, even if you play a ton, which I have before on the Halloween one, I didn't get like 3 or 4 or 5 skins that I wanted that looked really, really cool, and once they're gone probably until the next season, like until next Halloween. So you're more enticed to spend the money to get loot boxes to have a random chance at getting what you want. That is where the monster can come out of this thing, is how abusive are they going to get with it, or are they going to just make it purely, oh, if you don't want to wait, you can do this, you can pay $1, get what you want right away, no big deal. I mean, there's a lot of abuse that can come out of this, so I don't think it's something that should be just like a big sigh of relief. It should be like a small sigh of relief, but then still a little bit of cautiousness, because there's a reason why they haven't announced the prices yet. There's a reason why we don't know all the little details yet, because they're scared. They don't want to scare people away too soon. They're still probably working on all those facts and figures anyways. But it's also a matter of, is WB going to put their foot down and say, no, you need to charge this amount for this amount, and so on and so forth, because that's their money too. We'll point to DC Legends, I believe, DC Champions or DC Legends or whatever that is on the mobile game.
Yeah, it's Legends, I think.
Angry Joe played that.
Marvelous Champions.
Yeah, Angry Joe played that on stream one time just to show how much of a ripoff that is. It's a mobile game with microtransactions. Just to unlock one character, and it's like Deadshot or something, you have to pay like $50 or something crazy just to get enough crystals, because they use like a crystal, or no, they use shards is what they call them there. Just to get enough shards to unlock one character was like $50 in a mobile game. Like, that is insane. That makes zero sense.
That's stupid.
And there's a ton of
that video
unlockable
was
characters.
funny, though.
Yes, but so that's where we need to kind of worry. That's why we're not out of the woods yet. And because, I mean, this is the same company. It may be NetherRealm Studios, and I highly doubt they would like that. I trust NetherRealm Studios, but at the same time, it takes two to tango, and also, I don't know. I'm cautiously hoping that this is not going to be something that becomes crazy. I'm fine with just playing the game and waiting, even if I to Temp's example where he has to pay $5 just to have blue for the character he likes, something to that degree. I'm fine waiting if it takes me 20 hours just to get blue or some crazy thing like that. Whatever. I'll play the game. I like most of the models anyways, and the options that were given. I can wait to get my ideal setup because I'm hopefully going to play this game for, hours upon hours upon hours upon days, etc. So I can wait. But at the same point, it does get a little gross when you start kind of like, let's make the shaders come up a little bit less often. That way they're more enticed to start paying for it. And we'll bump it up from $1 to $1.50 per one. Or we'll make you pay for crystals for a random box rather than getting what you want guaranteed. So then it becomes like a gambling addiction that you're enticing people to do, which people do fall for that. I know people firsthand, like I said, with Overwatch, which is like a $40 game if you bought it on PC. My friend has now paid over $120 for Overwatch because of all the, loot boxes that he's wanted to get just to get the items he wanted during the times when they were available. I mean, that's how bad this can get. Way more than if they would have Overwatch just put out a costume pack, which probably would have been like 10 to 20 bucks tops, and got all those costumes for that amount. You take risks to get them, so it can get really gross, even from the best developers out there. Blizzard's a pretty damn good developer, but with that type of microtransaction system, even cosmetic only, it can get a little silly and a little gross. So I wouldn't get too happy too soon on that whole front.
Well, I wouldn't be that. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're good.
Oh, I was gonna say I wouldn't be worried that too much because this is pretty much the only kind of microtransaction that we know of so far. And as far as I know, MKX had like a ton. We got like the crit, and we got the easy fatalities and everything. That was ridiculous. But now this is the only one that we know.
So far is the key word.
Yeah, so far this is the only one we know. So they could be learning from their mistakes. But since this is the only microtransaction kind of thing in the game, then they could be raising the price. That does concern me as well. They could be raising the price because this is the only thing that they have to make money off of besides the characters.
The problem with what you just said though is you make it sound like they learned their lesson from MKX, so now they're doing it this way in Injustice 2. This is actually way more invasive than what MKX was. Yes, Razor, I believe, and many other people, I'm sure, got the crypt quicker, but that's a prime example of they purposely, at least to my assumption, obviously we know what assuming does, but I highly doubt the crypt would have been as pain in the ass to unlock everything and take so damn long if they didn't have that option to unlock things quicker. It's the idea of offering that option to unlock things quicker that probably made them dial back on the coins that you got, so that way, you get a little bit more impatient and it takes a little bit too long for you, so you're just like, screw it, I'll just bite the bullet on this one. But the easy fatalities, that was like nothing. That's not invasive to me. No one needs to buy those, really needs to buy those. These things, however, if you want a certain costume, it may take you like a month and a half, 2 months to obtain the particular look that you want. Or it may just not come, because we're talking 28, 30 characters or whatever, plus 1,000 pieces per character of gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can take a bit. Plus, you're not even guaranteed to get. You can get duplicates in this, and you can sell them back for I'm sure some of the amount that you spend on them, but you get what I mean here.
Yeah, there's also that. They also said there was going to be like some sort of holiday event, like they did for MKX and everything, right. And we don't know how that's going to work. Like, if they're going to offer skins during holiday events, that would be amazing. They didn't do that in MKX. Sure. I wish they did, but they didn't.
I agree.
But I'm pretty sure that they probably. I would say that it's a good chance because that's what a lot of people wanted to do because the holiday events for MKX wasn't that they weren't that rewarding. So I guess if they want to improve on that, if they really wanted to, then they put like something like a skin in there.
Yeah, like with like a Santa
like what you said with the Overwatch
Kings,
comparison. Yeah, like with the comparison to Overwatch and everything. That's a valid statement. Yeah. That's where I can see the power crystals coming into play as well.
Temp.
I just feel like the easy fatalities I could say a lot about because that's an interesting concept to me. But putting that on the shelf for I don't know, maybe forever. I don't know if I'll forget to that. Just as far as the transactions go, The time-sensitive aspect does bother me. Street Fighter V does that. And now, granted, once you buy them, it's not like a random generator. You know what you're buying. Still a lot though. It's $20 for every holiday season. We haven't seen anything like that for a while because I think Capcom's having some internal turmoil. But just God, it's time. Time is the key, because what made the crypt especially frustrating is not so much that you had to get the money to buy everything, it's that you had disappearing fucking treasure chest, and that was really frustrating for me. So I didn't even mess with it. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that game. There's nothing in those treasure chests that are so good that I have to wait in front of a tree for an hour and a fucking half. No, I'm not doing it. So yeah, that was my boat, and I never did it. I lived happily ever after.
Yeah, I didn't.
This is different. What's up?
I was just saying, yeah, I didn't even get remotely close. I get like even the time that we played online, which I don't even think you earn coins for online, do you? I can't even remember it. It's been long since I've actually paid attention to the coins in the crypt or anything like that. I gave up.
I think
the first
you do.
Time.
Considering the hours upon days we all played online, I think King of the Hill you don't. On Exhibition you do. That's, I think, if I remember correctly.
And by comparison, the MK9 crypt didn't take that long to unlock. I mean, you could have that unlocked within like a month easily. The whole thing, just by the amount of coins you earned. But they didn't have a microtransaction system to get it quicker. So therefore, you kind of see why, when companies offer that option, obviously things are going to dial back. So you're more enticed to purchase it because they make money. I mean, it is after all a business, and that's why I'm fine with them making money. It's just you gotta ride that fine line between, okay, we're making our money, life is good, but we're not affecting our consumers to that much of a degree that it's starting to become irritating and leaving a sour taste in their mouth, so to speak. And with Injustice 2, the way they're handling it, we don't know all the details yet, and that's a lot of the result of this is going to hang on those specific details that we do not know, which scares me that we don't know them, because they put out a press release essentially with a FAQ section, and the FAQ section only really talks about like 2 or 3 aspects of it. They just keep repeating those same aspects without going into
they pretty much
detail.
repeated what they just said. Like
Yes.
they explained it, and then the FAQ was
the same thing.
What did it
Yes.
just explain? Yeah.
So we don't know the price point or anything like as I've gone over earlier in the episode, we don't know some of those aspects. So yeah, that's a little scary. So I don't want anybody to think that we're just crapping all over them for even putting something like this. I think we're all in the same boat, that we're glad it's not pay to win, but at the same time, like I said, I think the best way to sum it up is we're not out of the woods yet. So if you think that this is going to not harm you whatsoever, I don't think you're seeing the grand picture of how this can completely affect the game, the unlock system, the rate of the unlocks, and maybe not all of them are going to be, in game. They made it I mean, we know not all the premier skins and shaders are going to be unlockable in game, because some of them come with the Ultimate Edition and stuff like that. So that's understandable if they want to make some of them DLC. But then if you open up that door and now we're like, okay, now Harley has 5 shaders that you can unlock only pure using source crystals as DLC or whatever, that's where you get a little rough. And we haven't even touched upon the part where you like reach level 20 with a character and you can pay to get another character up to level 20. So there is that aspect too.
That sounds a little pay to win to me. It's like, yeah, you don't pay to win for your main, but you pay to win for your other character you don't have time to put into, which I might be okay with. I need clarification, but I might be all right with that.
If
it is what I think.
I'll read what they put on the website just so we have a little bit more of a refresher. It says, source crystals can help you save time in the game. For example, once you level a character up to level 20, you can use source crystals to level up other characters to 20. This is optional and won't affect gameplay or game progression. Source crystals, blah, 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 can you purchase on there? It says it's also the Forge Gear option is tied to that as well, which we didn't touch upon, but you can purchase premium skins for select characters, shaders for character costumes, and the ability to take a character to level 20 after you're leveled up a character to 20 prior. You can also unlock transform gear with source crystals, allowing you to combine and forge gear for your characters. And what that means, if you weren't watching the stream, they kind of explained it, is if you like one specific set of armor, you like the stats that they offer, but you do not like the way it looks. So it has the perfect stats for what you want, but you do not like the way it looks. You can combine that with a piece that you do like, look-wise, but doesn't have the stats that you want, and you essentially take the look, take the stats, merge them, and now you have the perfect look for you, and you have the perfect stats for you. If that's only tied to source crystals, then yeah, it's starting to get a little shady. I don't know if that's only tied to source crystals, but it does say that is an option that you can use source crystals to do in Injustice 2.
Yeah, it sounds very PR, like they're purposely withholding information. I mean, obviously, I know they can't tell us everything,
Sure.
but here's my standard. If without source crystals, I should be able to get everything within the game I want within 100 hours of gameplay, outside of DLC. If a shader's DLC, I think that's gross, but fine, whatever. Let's go with it. Everything in the game that is unlockable by in the game means that I don't have to accelerate with source crystals. 100 hours of gameplay. I don't think that's unreasonable. That's 90 minutes for over 2 months. 90 minutes a day for over 2 months. So I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. 100 hours to
By the
unlock
way-
everything that's at the base seems reasonable.
Yeah, Razor, is your mic working?
Yeah, no, I just
He's quiet.
Okay, I see your
He's been so
picture's been
silent
flashing
this
a lot.
whole
He's
time.
I
been
don't hear
he's just
anything.
been like there with a notepad writing furiously like yes. Oh, okay.
like his
Make sure to
like
touch
the
those.
I'm sure it's only flashing because it's picking up background noise.
Oh,
but
okay, gotcha. Yeah.
I haven't had anything to say so far because for me, honestly, the source crystal stuff is I'm about as likely to give a shit about it as I was the easy fatalities in MKX. Like I don't need it. Like
Sure.
like my thing is like shaders aren't really important to me. Like I don't go for the palette swapping. Like I'm not the guy who plays Raiden in the red tunic. Like to me Raiden wears blue.
The red
like-
tunic.
I just like the default color schemes. I like what's canon. And like sometimes you have a character like Batman who wears like, oh, he can be gray and black or he can be gray and blue. And yeah, that shader probably is the first one you unlock. So
Yeah,
I'm
there's a
not-
lot of shaders on the.
I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I really want to play teal and pink Harley, but I haven't unlocked it yet. I better go spend some money. Like I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You didn't want Burgundy, Dr. Fate?
Not so much.
Oh man, I gotta shout out to bubblegum pink and blue Harley. I think it looks fantastic. I have to say
I mean,
that.
it doesn't look bad. It's just that to me, Harley wears black and red to it.
Sure.
Yeah, for me, it kind of a little depends on what the shader is because for Supergirl, I mean, yeah, for Supergirl, all I pretty much wanted to get was the white and red shader because it looks like Power Girl. And if I got that, which I did in the beta, I was like, okay, I don't need anything else. So
Right.
like, I'm with Razor. Like, I don't really care for any of the shaders as well. But it just depends on what it is because it looks like, for example, Supergirl. I think the white and red one looks cool, and that's the one, pretty much the only one I want because it looks like Power Girl.
Right. Okay.
Like for the only time that I feel like shaders really are going to matter to me, other than Premier skins, is Green Lantern. Because like if they have shaders or a gear that changes him to a different core, then I'm gonna want that. But like it's not gonna be like I really don't think it's gonna be like the Crypt where I'm gonna get impatient and just be like, fuck it, it's time to spend the money.
Remember, folks, this is the episode. Flash forward to 4 months later.
the thing with the Crypt was that I am a guy who cares about concept art.
Right.
And most people, I don't think, are that guy. So, like, the average person, I don't think any of this source crystal stuff is really going to matter to how they play the game.
That's fair. I mean, it's a fair
That's true.
stance to take. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that we missed on the source crystals? I know we covered that quite in-depthly, but obviously we don't know some of the details, so we could always touch upon that at a later point. Sounds like we all got our opinions out there. We'll go ahead and move on to Swamp Thing's reveal. Not reveal, but his breakdown.
Good breakdown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brusk, you want to take us off on the Swamp Thing breakdown?
Well, one of the logos I showed, like I said before the Skype call was, before we started recording, it kind of looks like Groot, which okay. I mean, like it. So I don't really like the one of the reindeer antlers on him. I think it looks dumb, but I do like the fact that that you can have an ability where where he's kind of like zone heavy. And I really like the animations where he's like shooting out the spikes against Cheetah and everything.
Right.
That would look really cool.
Okay.
I'm not a zoning type of guy, but I feel like if I need to, like if I'm playing against like someone like Batman or a player who's playing Batman who all that they're doing is just throwing the batarangs, I'm probably gonna want to use that and everything. So I'm glad they are giving us good things for like
Abilities
different
and
type
stuff.
of yeah. Good abilities for different kind of types of matchups and everything like that. The gear kind of just looks a little goofy to me. Like I said, it kind of looks like Groot, and I don't like the antlers, the reindeer stuff on him, but he doesn't look that bad. I mean, like there were some moves. I don't know, like Temp. I knew you were. I mean, you didn't watch it, but like, I knew you would have a problem if you did watch it. You would have a problem with one thing that he had. That he had like a 2-hit move where it was like a combo with a meter burn. Like it was like 50, or like 40% or something like that. It took a ton of damage, and it looked like a throw or something like that. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna fix that. But I was like, that is ridiculous.
Temp loves damage. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well,
That's ridiculous. Like 2 hits and like 40% damage. That's like a meter,
It's just
like a
saving
meter burn
him
combo.
time is all. It's just saving him time. Gets more matches in. Do I really?
I'm all for that.
Yeah,
but
I think
I
Razor
like
and I
Ray-
will be on board for that, because if we're on the receiving end of that, that saves us like 15 seconds of seeing our character just bounce up around in the air.
Yeah, like you got your 15-hit juggles. I just want to do the X-ray over and over again. That's really that's the character I want to play.
Oh man. Well, I mean, what drives me nuts is when characters have really good tools at very low risk. Like, well, the reason why Atrocitus is 4-2-2-3 drove me nuts is it hits mid. So if you're ducking or if you're standing, it don't matter. So that drove me nuts. I feel like once and it's forward projecting too. It's a forward projecting chain. So like once I'm at mid range, I felt like Atrocitus was always at advantage. And plus he had insane mix-ups afterwards. So stuff like that, stuff where it's very easy to pull off at very low risk. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But like if you look at like Nightwolf's bread and butters in MK9, where he did the fucking chain combo into Axe, then he did back two once, it's been a long time, but back two, another Axe, and then you do forward, punch, forward, punch, forward, punch, forward, 1, 2, 2, yeah, and then into shoulder. That's awesome. Like, yeah, you get 40% for it, but it looks badass, and it takes crazy, like, training mode time to do, so I love shit like that. But if it's like, like a brain dead command throw, yeah, that could get annoying. And if it has, like, very low startup and invincibility, yeah, I'll probably lose my mind. We'll see.
Liked Swamp Thing's duck, because it's him actually sinking into the ground.
Like, he doesn't have an actual duck?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't actually duck. He just like half his body sinks into the ground. That's his duck. That's fantastic. When you hold down, like
teabagging to the next level right there.
Waist down, he's just in the ground. It's fantastic. So that's really cool. He has a lot of specials and moves that kind of switch sides with him and his opponent. Because I guess his gimmick is that he lays down like a a flower bed, which has thorns and stuff. So if your opponent tries to walk into it, they can't dash and they can't jump while they're in that. But it only lays down behind him when he uses the button, or his trait, I should say. When he uses the trait, it lays down as he's walking. So he needs to walk towards his opponent and then somehow get them to switch sides with him, which he has several tools to do so. In that, they can walk in it very slowly, but they can't dash or jump. So it's really interesting how that whole thing works. As Bruss touched upon, he has traits, or not traits, but abilities that exchange some things. One ability, well, I guess it technically takes up 2 ability slots, and it replaces his trait. It's essentially a teleport. He comes up from, it's actually a really quick teleport. Think Raiden's teleport. He sinks down and comes up on the other side of his opponent like immediately. It's crazy fast, but that takes up both of his ability slots, and like I said, it replaces his trait just to do that. So that looked really cool. He had one where he could shoot thorns across the screen, like Brusk was saying. It's like a Gatling gun almost coming out of his chest of thorns that he shoots across the screen.
That's tight.
Yeah, he had some really interesting stuff. His green thumb was a really cool special where you grab them with like a giant hand when they're really up close, and you can do several things from there. You can do a throw, which switches sides with your opponent. You can do a healing thing, which you can actually meter burn and do a second time, I believe, or
Yeah,
maybe.
just think of a Shang Tsung, like the Shang Tsung throw move. Yeah.
Yeah, the meter burn, I guess, is just to do the healing, I believe, and he
Yeah,
can do it twice in one grab. But he does sacrifice his offense because usually you can heal once and then still do an offensive maneuver while holding them. But if you heal twice, then it gives up that right to do the offensive maneuver. So you're basically, I think each heal did like 78, so 7.8% of his health. So somewhere around there, I'd imagine.
That's a big deal. That's that's more than a poke. That could actually
Sure.
get you. That could save you a life lead.
Right. And yeah, there was a lot of interesting stuff about him. Obviously, his vine grabs that are from several different places. He can do far, medium, short range. The far one is almost full screen. Just outside of it, if the character is completely full screen, you'll just barely whiff. But you have to be like right on point to catch him. So it's not like a guarantee. You gotta, I don't know, it can be easily punished, so to speak, as we saw with Cheetah's super later on. I'm trying to think of other things about Swamp Thing that stuck out that are worth mentioning. Trying to think of any other moves that he did. The log kick is really interesting because, like we talked about before, it loses momentum as it goes across the screen. It doesn't go completely full screen. It stops just short. So if you're completely full screen, you won't get hit by the log.
it's pretty slow too. I mean, like it's very, very easy to jump over. Like I can see that. Like you can see it from a mile away.
Yeah, they made a point that he is not a zoning character in the sense of projectiles. He's not a projectile type of character.
He looks like a grappler for sure.
Yeah, he's like a long-range grappler, but he's not. Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of zoning tools. That's where like the spikes ability comes into play if you want to increase that, or if you want to, trade out his traits and the abilities for the teleport, then he has that option to get in on opponents quicker. But yeah, he had a lot of interesting stuff, but they definitely kind of put more focus and emphasis on the idea of this is a character that is all about switching sides with his opponent and having side control with a lot of his specials that switch sides. So it's kind of neat how that whole thing worked out. Any other thoughts on Swamp Thing? Razor? Anybody? Anyone? Bueller?
I mean, I don't know if I'll play him. Like, I don't go for grapplers that often, but I really like the animation on his duck he just sinks into the ground.
Yeah. It is really neat, and I love unique stuff like that. Anything that you can make unique about the character, I'm all for. I love unique jump-ins and twos and all that good stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to Cheetah. I will start off with Cheetah and say that she completely impressed me. I don't want to say it's a Katana moment from MKX where I'm like, man, I did not have any interest in this character, but I'm actually really sold on the character. Like when I first saw Katana in the MKX stream way back when. It's not to that degree, but she looked like a ton of fun, and I would not be surprised if I ended up trying to learn her because she is just balls to the wall, insane and crazy, very, very fast paced. Think X-23 almost from Logan, but with scratchy claws, and she has a lot of grapples. They said that she has more throws or grapples or whatever than any other character that they've ever done before. So a lot of her combos actually go into throws. You can do like 1-2 throw, 2-2-1 throw, all sorts of different ways to throw your opponent. She has a command grab that hits medium, and she has higher medium, I believe. I think you can duck under it because she does a swinging thing with her leg, which actually looks really cool when it's completely executed. So I think it's high because you can duck under it. But she has one that's high and she has one that's low. So you can. It's kind of a guessing game in that regard of if you trying to outsmart your opponent. So she has that command grab, and if she meter burns it, it goes into a pop-up, so she can do a combo off of it. And she has a dive kick to a degree that also has a meter burn option for a pop-up. So she had all sorts of tools. Her super goes across the screen, so she basically just runs. Think Katana from MKX, that whole run move. Her super starts up like that. She just runs across the screen, full screen, pretty quickly. So that's where they said how you can, take advantage of Swamp Thing's whiffing on his vine grab. Is as soon as you see him start that, you can pretty much start your super because he's at that point because you have armor. So that looked really cool. She's just all over the place. She has a lot of stylish attacks. She's got kind of a capoeira style to her as well, where she's just all over flippy kicky. Her back dash is a really quick backflip. So she's got a lot of fun fun aspects to her that I really dug. Her trait is a short damage boost, much like Katana's sharpened claw or sharpened fans from MKX. You initiate it, it doesn't last too long, so you got to decide when the best time is to use it. But yeah, it powers up all of her claw attacks, which are clearly most of her attacks. So she's got some interesting options there. And then I believe one of the abilities was like a psycho dive. What do they call that from Street Fighter? The one where they just like dive across screen, kind of like what Raiden does.
Psycho Crusher?
Psycho Crusher, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so yeah, she can do a Psycho Crusher, and if she meter burns it, she can go even further across the screen, I believe. Is that correct? Did she have that?
Interesting. Both she and Firestorm have that.
Yeah, that's why I was getting a little confused right now. Just to make sure I didn't get confused.
That kind of reminded me of Tanya's move. Didn't Tanya have that in MKX where she where you can jump and then and her Kabujutsu variation where she where you jump and then she just dives down or something like that?
She has, I think it's across all her variations. She has two versions of the drill, and then she has that like flip kick thing. And yeah, you can do those on the ground or in the air.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what it reminded me of. I mean, I like the jumping animation too. The jump, there's a lot of possibilities you can do with the jumping and everything. But yeah, I'll just say my thoughts.
And then the last thing that I wanted to mention, she did have another. I think it was one of the abilities. I can't remember. It was a crawl. Think like what Melina or Reptile can do. She crawls across the ground really quickly. It's not a low, I noticed. It's a mid, so you can block it. So there is that.
It's basically a dash attack. It's sort of like that thing Katana had in X.
Yeah, it would. I think since she crawls so low, it's a nice way to get under projectiles and get in really easily. So there is that. They did make mention that a lot of her stuff is easy. Her combos and stuff like that are easy to do, and she's very, very rush down. You just got to commit to it because a lot of her stuff is unsafe on block. So if she goes in and she goes in for it and they block her, then she's unsafe on a lot of that stuff, like her dive kick and so on and so forth. Anyways, I'll open it up for thoughts. We'll start with Razor, because I know Razor was really looking forward to Cheetah as a potential character that he might play in terms of the rushdown style that he likes. So, thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that she's a grappler, like I said, I don't usually go for grapplers, but I did play Jackson 9, so, like, if they're fast enough or if they're visually spectacular enough, and Cheetah is definitely that, like, the fact that her normals look like capoeira means I pretty much have to give her a shot now.
Yeah, she's got some great stuff.
Yeah, like the speed and the flashiness of her moves. It's definitely a character that's up my alley.
For sure. Brusque?
Well, I like you, I was surprised. Like, I wasn't like, I was happy that she was in the game. I actually kind of thought it was a cool idea. Like, 2 months after the game was announced, I tweeted or something, or I just thought hey, Cheetah would be cool in the game, and then she ends up being in the game. I was like, oh, that's cool. Let's see how she is, because I was kind of looking forward to it because I kind of did want her. She wasn't in my most wanted characters or anything like that. She was just one of those characters. I was like, hey, I think she can be cool in the game. Let's see what they can do. And they neither of them did succeed. I mean, she doesn't look like Liu Kang, but with the speed, it reminded me of Liu Kang in MKX, very rushdown heavy, fast, and I like that because that was kind of how I played, or how I like the visuals to look, all fast and quick and everything. Because Liu Kang was my main in MKX, so I'm probably gonna play her more than I was expecting to. But she has a lot of great stuff. I really do like Cheetah in this game. She just looks pretty good, and I like how the armor or the gear doesn't make her look fat or anything like that. The gear kind of is
tattered clothing,
very light,
and stuff like
padded
that.
clothing or something. They're very light, nothing too big or anything. So that's what I really like. The gear doesn't seem to mess her up or visually mess her up and everything in terms of appearance.
I also want to make mention that the sound effects for her attacks were really good, and I also really like the sound effects for her super, where she's clawing at them, of course, but also when she's dragging her claws across the ground as she's sliding backwards. I thought the sound effects were superb in her super.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to it, so I might give it another watch and everything. The super kind of did underwhelm me a little bit.
Yeah, the actual what she does, yeah, could be a little bit better. But then again, I mean, I don't know what else you would do with her. She scratches the crap out of him and then stomps him in the back, which looked really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I was definitely impressed with the character. She seems like a lot of fun to play. Very, very, very fast and visceral, which I dig. Tim, thoughts?
I mean, I was not one of the people hoping for Cheetah just because I know so little about her. It's nothing personal. I don't know a whole lot about the Wonder Woman mythos outside of the New 52, and even the New 52 stuff I haven't completely read in its entirety. The way you described her gameplay, she sounds like two things. Ravenous Melina from MKX. That's one thing I'm kind of picturing with all the grapples.
Yeah.
The other thing that comes to mind is Children of the Atom Wolverine, or I guess Marvel Superheroes Wolverine specifically, with a dive kick. I'm a little sad to hear that every dive kick in an NRS game is unsafe. I know I just whined for like 5 minutes about how Atrocitus had zero risk, heavy pressure options, but I don't know. I think Killer Instinct does it best, where everybody's broken. Everyone has a lot of crazy options. I feel like the trend with NetherRealm Studios and really most fighting games right now is everything's so unsafe, you know? And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like fighting games are getting more and more restrictive. They're taking a lot of the fun elements out. I don't mind having good, safe options if the damage is reasonable and the mix-ups aren't insane afterwards. I really would like. I like pressing buttons. That's one of my favorite things about playing fighting games. I like pressing buttons. In MK9, God, I feel like every chain combo was zero on block, which is probably why it's one of my favorite fighting games of all time. So I hope like they kind of get away from this trend of you do a low poke and your turn is completely over. That's one thing I love about Street Fighter V is you can press buttons and you can keep pressing buttons depending on what your opponent does.
Buttons.
So many buttons. But she sounds cool. I like the little the energy speed line she has going with her claws in the trailer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my internet's dead right now. I'm doing this whole podcast through a hotspot, so I could not see any of the stream. But gameplay wise, she looks interesting. Even though I'm more excited about playing Firestorm, I think more than any other character looks like this game's premier zoner. Which is not my style. Even though when I play Killer Instinct, that's all, I'm a zoner, like 110%. Especially since they patched that game, I am zoning more now in that game than I ever have because Rushdown Glacius is getting like progressively worse and worse and worse. Even though they buffed all his normal. Well, anyway, yeah. So Cheetah looks really good. Cheetah looks awesome. I'm still not a fan of the character. I don't care for the design. I would have rather had a chick and with fake cheetah ears or some shit like that. That would have been more my tailoring. The animal girl,
Gross.
Not really my thing, but yeah. She still looks fun though. The gameplay has a lot of promise, and I think she'll be a blast. Catwoman was a lot of fun the last game, even though I never really got good with her. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I'm actually kind of interested. How are they going to differentiate her from Catwoman? I mean, like, you know, Cheetah has superpowers, or she has super abilities and everything. Catwoman doesn't. Yeah, I'm not saying they're the same. I'm just wondering. Cheetah kind of does look like the things she does in the game kind of looks like something Catwoman would do. So I'm interested to see what Catwoman will do now, since
Probably
Cheetah kind of looks
whip
like
heavy.
You know, yeah, more whip heavy. That's what I was about to mention. So yeah,
Maybe
I'm
throw some
still
caltrops or
interested.
something in there. Just play up her use of gadgets and her own little tricks and stuff like that.
No, caltrops doesn't sound that bad. You know, I actually didn't even think of that.
Well, she was never really a traditional rushdown character anyway. Catwoman in Justice 1 was all about blowing people up on Wake Up. She had a really good back three. Her back three is one of the best in the game, so she did like these insane whiff punishes. And she was very much a mid-range character, in my opinion. She had rushdown tools, but that's why everyone thought she was bad. It's because she wasn't getting anything off of those rushdown tools alone. That's what made 16-Bit such a good player, is he could whiff punish and blow people up on Wake Up so well. So that's why his Catwoman was just immaculate to watch. So I think Cheetah is going to be the traditional rushdown character, and Catwoman is probably still going to be the blow up, the mid-range character.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. She'd be more mid. All right, well, let's move on. I don't think there's much else to cover other than we did get...
we got a little bit more of Green Arrow. Like, we finally heard his voice, and I'm pretty sure it's the guy from the first game back. That was Alan Tudyk, who's Wash on Firefly.
Right. Yeah, he's been in like a million things.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff, but that's probably what he's most famous for. Also, we got his bio, and they confirmed that it is the Ollie that from the end of season 2, right? Where
Year 2, yeah.
Of the comic
from the other Earth. Yeah.
The Dr. Fate sends Black Canary to live on another Earth where that Green Arrow's Canary is dead.
Yeah.
And her Ollie is dead, so they can be together. And then so when she comes back, she brings him with her, I guess. So that's I'm glad that that he doesn't exist purely in flashback form.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I saw some people thinking like, hey, this character is only there because of the flashbacks. Like, there's flashback scenes, and that's why this character is in the game, not because of what's currently going on. Because
stupid people that don't read the comics. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, but I can understand why they thought that, because the way they showed him in the trailer kind of looked like it was a flashback.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah.
Okay,
but I'm not one of those people who thought that. Like, I was on board on that theory of he's from the Earth that Black Canary was sent to, and then Black Canary comes back with Green Arrow. So yeah.
Yeah,
well, for me, it's good news because Green Arrow is one of my favorite characters, and the more he's in the story, the better. Because personality-wise, like, he's the guy who quips the most. He's the guy who's funny. That's sort of something I feel like the story needs more of. Like, he's the
Johnny Cage of this game. Yeah,
he holds you right.
But yeah, more screen time for Green Arrow is always a good thing.
Definitely.
I hope we get the Robin Hood hat that we had, the one that he wears, or what he used to wear.
Yeah.
Definitely agreed there. I think I said that before in an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I agree. I do hope we get that.
And then we also got what appears to be a final character count. At least we can. I mean, it's not confirmed by any means, but it's something that we could probably rest assured is a little bit more likely a final character count for the game. It looks like the website now has 38 roster slots. They reorganized how the character page looks, so it's actually 38 slots that you can see all at once, like a select screen almost. And yeah, so if you do the math, you add in Darkseid, which they did confirm wasn't part of the 9 DLC, which I was never thought he would be, but you know, there's people that speculated that. And then you add in the 9 DLC characters, that makes 10 of the slots. That leaves only 4 slots left, which means one of the characters on the leak list is not going to make it or going to be a premiere skin. So, yeah, it looks like Mr. Freeze, unfortunately.
Premiere skin, yeah.
Premiere skin. I know a lot of people wanted him to just be a premiere skin, so people are rejoicing. I, on the other hand, yeah, I was hoping he'd be his own character, but now seeing Captain Cold all big and bulky, I guess it's not really that surprising.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that Captain Cold design, I was like, oh yeah, Mr. Freeze is definitely a premiere skin. But hey, at least you're getting his own voice.
Yeah, no, I'm not like super bummed by it. I think it's great that he's at least in the game. He wasn't going to be my main, but rhyming and stuff. I'm glad he's at least in the game, and the premiere skins have their own type of personality to them, so that's cool. I'm definitely excited to see them. But yeah, it's looking like that will be the case, which also means the leak list probably is legit. And, well, we knew it was legit, but it's probably the final amount and the final characters. I don't foresee them sneaking 1 or 2 more in there. Because, yeah, if you do the math, it just makes sense that way.
Yeah, we still don't know if Shazam is going to be in as a premiere skin. I saw somebody, like, I made a video about it, like, talking about the updated roster, like what we're talking about right now. And somebody mentioned, like, hey, what if they're just saving Shazam? Or, like, well, maybe it's kind of a stretch, but what they're saying, one guy was saying, like, what if they're saving Shazam so there can't be, like, 3 lightning guys in which he's saying that Raiden could be a future DLC, like after the 9 DLC characters are out.
Right.
Which that's a very big stretch, because for all we know that we don't even know if they're going to continue after the 9 DLC characters. But I'm sure they will. But that's probably going to be down the road, like 8 months from now or something like that. It's a long time. But it's something that I did think about. Not for too long, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to get more premiere skins than we're expecting, because that's what they've been alluding to, but it's hard to tell how many exactly we'll end up getting.
I mean, almost every major member of the Justice League has a guy who's them in the opposite colors or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. There is one more thing I wanted to touch upon, and this is more of a rant, a soapbox moment, a blow up, if you will. Dusty Roads. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just going.
Take it to the pay window.
American Dream. Okay. So this happened. This is a thing. And I wanted to save it to the end of the podcast because I didn't want it to like set the tone for the show. This is going to be a very positive show, so I think we had a good balance there for those that were asking for more positivity. You know, we liked pretty much just about everything other than maybe the source crystals, which we're a little cautious about, but not overly negative about either. So I wanted to pick your guys' brain on this little moment I had in the stream for the Injustice Watchtower. So I promoted our channel in the chat. I put in the chat, this is what I said. It was very nonchalant, very non-aggressive, non-beggy. I said, hey, you know, we got like a couple hours left before the stream starts. If you don't mind, you know, or I didn't say if you don't mind, that sounds kind of weird, but I said, if you guys are bored and you feel like it, check this out. We do an Injustice channel on YouTube called Nethercast. Check it out if you want, no pressure, you know, all good either way. And then I put the little thumbs up picture. So, I mean, you can't be more casually like trying to get people to check out your stuff than that, promoting your channel. So a guy blows me up, right? And he says, oh my God, get that shameless promoting out of here. He's being very serious. He's like, oh, I can't stand that. I hate that. It's awful. Thoughts before I go further with the story?
Did you put the link to the Nethercast?
No, I just said, hey, check out Nethercast like on YouTube.
Okay, then he shouldn't have anything. He should not really.
I don't even think he's blowing you up.
He has no right to do that. You're not even putting the link or anything like that. If you put the link in there, okay, I can see that as a problem. But if you're saying like, hey, we do a show.
Check it out.
No pressure.
You know, we're all sitting here bored. You know, if you want. I mean, I said if you want. Like I said word for word what I said. I'm not like underselling it. Like I'm like, please guys, check this out, please, 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 or please. I didn't even say anything about subscribing. All I said was, hey, you know, give us a watch. We're doing like a review of the comics. Check it out if you want. No big deal. So, anyways, he goes on to blow me up, and he makes a big deal about it, and I said, and I retorted, and I said, hey. You know, this is how things work. This is how businesses work. This is how brands work. Anybody you follow on, like any celebrity you follow on Twitter, they're constantly going to be telling you, hey, I'm in a movie, go check it out, go check this out. You know, that's what commercials are. That's what advertisements are. I mean, how else do you expect to grow? Everyone has to start somewhere. That's what I stated. And he said, well, actually, I own a business, but I just hate shameless self-promotion. And he went on about that. Thoughts?
That's what a business is. A business is shameless self-promotion. The only difference is you pay for your marketing, but that's what they get a revenue back for that. So of course they pay for their fucking marketing. No, the dude is just petty, angry, and bearded. There's nothing you can do about that.
It's the internet. Everybody's so goddamn uptight all the time. Just ignore people like that, really.
No, I will.
They're looking for causes. They're looking for a cause.
There's a good ending to this. There's a good end. I'm going somewhere with this. I'm not just ranting. Okay. I'm not just ranting for the sake of it. But this kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But anyways, the best part about this, out of all of this, because I even mentioned, I was like, you know, like Max and you know, any of those other YouTubers out there, or any celebrity, anybody on any level that's trying to share the content that they put out, be it artwork or movies, television, games, anything. I mean, this isn't a business for us, but this is just something we do as a hobby and for fun. But yeah, we'd like to see our channel grow, of course. But to expect us not to share it, I mean, who is supposed to share it then? I mean, if we're not supposed to share our own stuff, that's like me designing a picture and then hiding it in a box because I can't share it with anybody, or just hanging it on my wall and hoping somebody comes around and asks about it so I can be like, oh yeah. I mean, you want to show something that you did and that you put a ton of time into. We put tons of hours into the content that we make. I mean, the like take the comic book review or the Injustice series review. When it's all said and done, we probably will put somewhere close to 60 hours into it because it's roughly 35 minutes per episode times 73 issues. Plus, you got to consider time of editing and uploading, etc. So,
just reading by itself takes a while.
Oh yeah, we're talking 15 to 20 minutes just to read, then another 15, 20 minutes to do that. That's what I'm saying is we average it out 35, add in 10 minutes for editing and all that stuff, 45 minutes per episode, per issue. That's 73 issues. That just gives you an idea. It's like, hey, maybe we want more than 43 views on that, not because we're thirsty for views or thirsty for subscribers, but more because, hey, we're proud of what we did here. We put a lot of effort into what we did. We want, more people to see it, as many people to see it as possible, because we think it's pretty cool. So, go ahead.
It's the whole point of YouTube. Like, the whole point of YouTube is that uploading a video when you want your shit to be seen, of course you're going to go out and try to, like, have people check it out. Like, you want your shit to be seen. That's the whole point of YouTube.
Thank you.
I don't know why people are so freaking pissed about it, because, like, I remember, like, I was tweeting, like, I was all like, please retweet this. Like when I tweeted out my video, and they're like, "Oh, you're just looking for retweets. You're looking for a view. You're a view whore." I was like, "Bitch, I want my shit to be seen. Of course, I want people to retweet it or like share it and everything.
You literally said,
of course, I want to."
Okay, so along that same vein, I mean, then there's also the factor that it seems like when somebody else shares, like if it's not the person that created it, say it's just some fan of Max or somebody, and they're like, "Oh, dude, I love this thing from Max." That's not, for some reason, I mean, that's okay. It's okay if somebody, like a random fan or somebody that views it, if they want to share that person's content, perfectly acceptable, no big deal. But God forbid the creator of that content share his own content, his or her own content. By God, you've just broken a sin. You've broken the law. Like, to me, that's crazy. But you want to know what the ultimate kicker is of all of this? The guy said after this exchange, and he said publicly in the chat, "I actually subscribe to your channel. I like your content. I just don't like self-promotion."
Oh my god. It kind of reminds me of those YouTube comments I get. Like, I upload a video and they're like, "This video is trash, bro." I'm like, "What's trash about it?" And they're like, "Oh, I didn't think you would respond. This is a cool video, man. I love your stuff." I'm like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "What the heck is the deal here?"
Thoughts on the fact that, would you watch something and subscribe to something and then see that creator share his video or content in a chat, in a public forum, and then when you see something that you like and that creator is sharing that, why would you crap on that? Why would you say, I would do the exact opposite. If Joe Schmo whatever is making content and I like it and he's like, "Hey guys, check this out," I would say, "Yeah, you guys should check that out. I love that guy's content," or "I follow that guy's content." I mean, why subscribe to us if you don't? I mean, I just blew my mind. Yeah, that just blew my mind.
I answer that question with another question. Before it made sense, I still think he was overreacting. But before, I'm thinking, because let's take an example, Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew doesn't give two fucks about video gamers. Neither does Doritos or Pepsi.
Sure.
You know what?
MLG and everything.
Yeah, so when fucking Mountain Dew tries to target gamers, I'm like, I know you don't give a fuck about me. You're trying to make money, and you're trying to market off of gaming culture, game culture is just a dumb thing to me anyway. So I get the knee-jerk. I don't agree with it, but I understand. It makes sense. Here's the thing. If he subscribes to our channel, he knows we care about Mortal Kombat. He knows we care about Injustice. He knows we care about comics. I mean, so it's not shameless self-promotion. We're sharing something we're passionate about. So I don't understand why he would say all that shit if he knows what we're about, if he knows that we're driven by just how much we care about this franchise, about this company. Like you said earlier, this is a lot of work. you know, and I don't do it for money. I don't do it. God knows, you know, that I don't do it, you know, for recreation. I do it because I love it.
If
You know,
we did this
I
for
love-
money, we'd be doing a horrible job at it. Let's just put it
Yeah,
that
this
way.
is-
I mean, we're not making that, like, yeah, we have yet to hit $100 and we've been around for 2.5 years. There's your idea of what there's your realistic answer to that argument. So,
Tear down all the smoke and mirrors.
yeah, no,
Gone.
there is no, I mean, we're being completely transparent here. It's just, I thought
Yeah.
that was the funniest yet most insulting back-assward thing that I've ever heard. Somebody blow me up on Twitter, or not Twitter, but on the chat, and people actually joined in with him and is like, yeah, get that self-promotion out of here. Oh, hashtag
my
no,
God.
or hashtag nether promotion or blah blah, like they were trying to make jokes. And I had people coming to my defense too, so it's not like it was just all bashing, but it was just like, I was just like, what is going on? Like, who does this? I mean, it's okay to just share everyone else's stuff, but God forbid you share your own stuff to a that you know is the type of people that might dig this type of thing, and especially when you're just asking them to check it out if they want. I mean, you're just throwing it out there. It's like the equivalent of me going out in public square, putting up a sign that says, hey, check this out if you want. It's not like I'm walking up and saying, check this out, you have to check this out, please subscribe, or I'm like trying
Dare
to...
you stand in public with a sign?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't try and bait anybody. I wasn't like, oh my god, you'll never believe what happened, check this out, click on this link. I didn't like bait anyone into coming into it. It's like I was upfront and clear, hey, we have an Injustice channel.
Top 10 reasons you should click this link. NetherRealm Studios hates it.
You won't believe what Ed Boon did.
But
10 things only link clickers will
For
know.
playing Injustice 2.
and then I thought my reasoning of saying that other, everything, this is how the world goes around, is promotion. It's all promoting something. Everybody's promoting something, be it a business or not. Somebody's promoting something. You're promoting your damn opinion when you post on anything. But at the end of the day, I thought the biggest kicker was that, yeah, for somebody to say, oh, I actually subscribe to your channel, I just don't like self-promoting or shameless self-promoting. It's like, well, what do you want from me here, man? I mean...
Can I just say, like, for you, and I understand why you were there, but the average person, if you're in a Twitch chat half an hour before the stream is going to start, what are you doing with your life?
I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not going to bash people that show up early to the chat. I don't care about
I usually show up pretty early.
I mean, but...
Yeah, Razor's on his own
What
island.
are you doing with your life?
What are you doing with your life, Tap?
Send that
What-
negative feedback to
Too much free
Razor
time.
at Razor's Edge on Twitter.
But that's actually bring up a good point. No one is here because they're bored. The Nethercast takes a lot of work and a lot of hours, and that goes double for Cyborg. But it's commitment. We do it because we love it. So it would be nice if other people would jump on board too. We'd like you to help.
Yeah, it's
You
not
know,
even
just
like
join us for
asking
the
people to
fun.
subscribe. It's just asking them, hey, give this a watch.
podcast.
If you dig it, you dig it. If you don't, you don't. No big deal. I'm not asking people to subscribe that aren't going to actually tune in. I don't want phantom subscribers that don't actually give a shit about our content. I was saying, hey, if you dig this, hey, come check it out. If you don't, move on. No big deal. No biggie. I said that. No biggie. And I even told the guy that I had this interaction with on the Twitch chat. I said, hey, I still love you, man. No biggie. And this is before he even said he was a subscriber. I just said, hey, no big deal. You don't like promoting, whatever. I don't hold it against you. It's just like, this just bewildered me, and I was so fucking, I don't know, just so, like, I didn't even know where to go with something like that, because it lacks all sort of logic, in my opinion, because it doesn't make any sense. And for somebody to subscribe to something, I can't think of a damn thing that I subscribe to that if they were sharing their stuff, I would just jump all over them and crap on them. It's like, why even follow our content if you don't like me, you don't like our content, or you don't think our content's worth sharing? I'm not asking, if you don't want to share it, fine. But it's something that I put a lot of time into, so if I share it, why are you shitting all over it? And okay, if you're a stranger and you don't know what we do, fine. I accept it. You just think we're another random YouTuber trying to get famous or whatever. Fine, okay. But if you know what we're about enough to subscribe, why shit on me? Why shit on this? Why shit on what we do? I just don't get that. Whoever you are, feel free to unsubscribe. If you haven't already and you're still listening to this, if you even listen to the podcast, I don't know, you could have subscribed a week ago. Don't really know. don't care. But if that's your attitude, and this goes for anybody that's subscribed, feel free to unsubscribe if that's your attitude, that you just like, and I have never had a problem with anybody else like in that regard. It's just, I just don't get that logic. I really don't get that. I think that's so disrespectful and shitty that you watch our content, but you don't like if we share it, and you shit on us publicly if we do share it, and blow us up publicly like that. I just think, I mean, if I could ban a username from YouTube, which you can do, but I don't know what that guy's YouTube name is, I would totally do that, because it's like, I don't want you watching our content, because it's free content for you. So if that's the case, then if that's how you feel, then don't. And I don't think that's a shitty way to go about that. I don't think that's a shitty frame of mind to be in. I just thought that was worth, I just wanted to mention that here because I wanted to pick your guys' brains on it. Obviously, we're all biased because we make YouTube stuff, but at the same time, it's like going to McDonald's and complaining because it's like going to McDonald's and saying, how dare you show commercials on TV, you shameless self-promoting assholes. Like, we're not McDonald's. We aren't even remotely to that size. Is it because we're a small-time YouTube that we're not allowed to promote our shit? Like, I don't get it. Like, at what point?
It's people. I get why people have a knee-jerk response to when they think there's something insincere going on. Like when people come to conventions and are like, "Oh, you like anime?" or "Oh, you like video games?" Well, I got something just for you. I know those guys, generally speaking, are not being sincere. They're trying to sell me something.
Sure.
That is not us. And what's frustrating, this guy knows better. He knows we're not trying to sell anyone. If we're trying to sell anything, it's not to our subscribers. It's to fucking NetherRealm Studios. That's what we're trying to sell to. Please put Fujin in video games. That's what we're trying to sell. That's our goal. We're not trying to sell anything to our subscribers. We're having fun. We want them to have fun too. That's my goal, at least, for our subscribers. I am trying to sell something, though, but not to them. I'm trying to sell it to Ed Boon. That makes any...
Yeah, I mean... Yeah.
You want NetherRealm to notice your stuff.
I want them to change stuff. I want them to make their games better.
It's not even really, they don't need to notice our stuff, but hell, if we can be a voice and they'll listen to us, then by all means. If Max can do it and they'll listen to him, by all means. It's just more about getting the voice out there. That frustrated me. And
I've been covering Mortal Kombat for like over 2 years, and I still haven't gotten noticed by NetherRealm. Actually, I think I have. I think Ed Boon did tweet out my video.
I'm sure you have. I'd be very surprised.
I have not. Only one. I've only got one tweet from Ed Boon saying like, "Hey, check this video out," and it was an article including my video in it. But I'm pretty sure. Okay, that's pretty much the only one. I'm pretty sure NetherRealm has not. I don't know if they've noticed my content or not. And I've been doing it for a long time. And I'm not giving up. I'm not saying like, hey, never mind. But I want my stuff to get noticed or like seen and my voice heard.
Yes, and that's what it's about.
And I don't know that for a fact because obviously they can't say like, hey, I checked out your video and then leave. But like, like NetherRealm does tweet out like videos like Maximilian's and everything, and like they give shout outs to him and everything, like Ed Boon and everything like that. And like I'm not like I'm not crapping on any other YouTuber like Uncaged or anything. Like he's my buddy and everything, but I'm just saying like if they can tweet out the video and everything, then like why shouldn't I'm not saying like they should tweet out my video. I'm just saying like why can't our voice be heard? If is our voice heard? Is there something being done? Are you guys listening to us? I want to know if they are or not. And that could be like any way, like putting something in the game, like you said, like Fujin in video games, or they don't have to tweet out my video or anything. I just want to know that my voice is being heard.
Yeah.
I will say this. I can guarantee someone in NetherRealm Studios knows who you are. If Paulo's going to acknowledge random hot girl players on TYM, I'm sure they know who you are. I'm almost positive, but go on, Cyborg.
I was just going to say, I didn't mean this for it to turn into like a Mad Max Witness Me thing. Witness me!
I like the reference.
Yeah, I didn't mean for it to turn into that, because I know people can misconstrue that into like we're begging for attention or we just want NetherRealm's attention. It's not that, and don't misinterpret what Bruss said or what we said. When we say we want to be heard and we want to be noticed in that sense, it's just because in a lot of ways we have a strong community, be it 1,000 fans, 50,000 fans, 100,000, 150. We are putting stuff out there hoping that they take our opinion into consideration. That's all we're saying. We're not saying like, oh my God, we're going to cream our pants because Ed Boon looked at our video. Nothing like that. It's more about, hey, you know, we don't feel like this fan, you know, certain times it doesn't feel like this side of the fan base is being heard. So it would be nice, hopefully, that that message does get across. And that's why I said it doesn't matter if it's Max or whatever, as long as they're spreading the same message of, you know, get Fujin in there, you know, like Martian Manhunter and Injustice 1, stuff like that. I mean, those are solid messages to get to them, because sometimes, you know, they can get crowded by casuals and stuff like that, which obviously have their place, because that's where the majority of the sales come from. But, you know, your hardcore audience, sometimes it's nice to have them listen to as well.
Ones that have been there since the beginning, the one that stuck with you for years, they gotta get something. I mean,
yeah. So,
yeah.
But anyways, we'll wrap it up there. I didn't want to go. Obviously, I went on that tangent for a whole lot there, but I mean, I think it's important because I don't.
They're kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that person is. I just want there to be some. I mean, I just want people to understand that the struggle is real, and sometimes it's like, you know, all you're trying to do is share a channel, and then you get, and this happened on Reddit too. People blew me up on there as well, so I won't go into that either. But it was the fact that the dude was a subscriber, and that was the thing that really was like made me feel like it was worth mentioning, because that kind of defied all logic at that point for me, and felt it.
I don't know why people would blow you up on Reddit, because like it said, like you can't promote your videos if it doesn't relate to the subreddit. And your stuff does relate to the subreddit. So.
And it related to that post. But I digress. Like I said, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to go into that one. But anyways, not to leave it on a downer or like a negative note. We're loving Injustice 2. We're all excited for the game. We're loving everything we see about it. So that was just a little side tangent. I should have warned you to just tune out if you don't want, if you don't want to hear a giant rant. But I did preface it that it was going to be a rant at least. So anyways, thanks for coming on, Brusque. Nice to have you back.
Anytime.
Thanks for joining us, dude.
We had you like on the first time, year and a half or something crazy ago. It was a long time leading to NKX. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Damn,
man.
Was it 2 years ago?
Time flies. Time flies. I guess it is 2 years ago, because Injustice came out like 2 years ago. Or not Injustice, but NKX. Man, I'm getting all sorts of messed up. Time flies. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Check out his channel. Obviously, I know it's Brusque Poet, but is it Brusque Poet Productions, right?
It's Brusque Poet Productions, but you can just search up Brusque Poet and everything will come up.
Yep. So you can find him on there if you haven't already. He's got a lot more subscribers than we do. So if you're one of our subscribers and you're not one of his subscribers, I would kind of question what's going on with that. But check him out if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks guys. We'll see you for, man, I didn't even say the episode number this time in the beginning. What am I doing with myself? I think it's the lack of Shadowloo.
Spending all your time in Twitch chats before the stream starts.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, apparently Razor and I need to have like
the episode number, so
I need
you
to
prepare.
Like talk to Razor about like what I'm doing with my life over here. You're wasting your time in those Twitch chats. Anyways, you guys take care. We'll see you for episode 58 next time. This was episode 57. You guys have a good one. Another reveal next week. Or no, not next week. It's the 23rd. That is next week. So we're going to get another character reveal then, as well as we're getting Robin for sure as a character breakdown on the next Watchtower stream next Wednesday. And they said there would be one more surprise character as well as a breakdown character for next week. Anyways, nice to see Sean Hemrick back in the stream, by the way. And glad to see him back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Dude, hopefully he's taking care and all of that good stuff since he's been off Twitter. And yeah, anyways, you guys have a good one.
Later.
Not everybody. Stay off those Twitch streams.
If you show up on time, it's appropriate. Half an hour early, just get a life. I don't know. I was trying to think of how to close
You're there for
that.
the scintillating conversation?
Yes.
It's like going to a movie theater. Like, you know, before the movie starts, the trailers haven't started yet. Everyone's waiting.
You're making conversation like you're anticipated and excited, yeah.
But I'm an introvert. I don't talk to those strangers.
You eat your Mike and Ikes and you enjoy it, damn it.
All right. See you guys later.
Later.
friendship